Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of JoyBaking.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about volume and weight measurements, and I'm going to try to convince you to start weighing your dry ingredients, because baking is all about being precise and accurate, so that way you can get consistent results. And when you weigh your ingredients, that really helps. And it's just so quick and easy to do as well. So, in order to weigh your ingredients, first you need some type of digital scale. Now, as you can see here, I've got 3 different types. And you can buy these types of digital scales at really anywhere where kitchen equipment is sold or online. And they come at every price point. For example, this one that I'm going to use today, I bought on Amazon for under $20, which really is about the same price as a set of good stainless steel measuring cups. So how do you use a scale? Well, let's take you're making a muffin batter where you're going to mix all your dry ingredients in one bowl. So what you do is get your bowl, just put on your scale and turn it on, get it to 0, and then say I need a cup of flour. A cup of flour is 130 grams. So all I do is just get my scoop and bring it, watch the numbers go up until I get to 130. And if I take too much, I just take it out. As you can see, I can just be really accurate here. This is 1 gram scale by 1 gram. So now I'm at 130. So now I want to add, say, a half a cup of brown sugar, which is about 105 grams. So now I can 0 this scale. I don't have to take the flour out, and then just add my 105 grams of brown sugar. I mean, how easy is that? You don't have to worry about getting all your measuring cups out. And there, I have that. And then if I had other ingredients, I could just 0 and then keep adding. I mean, that's just so much easier. And then there are other things. Like, for example, if you have butter, say you need a half a cup of butter. Well, sometimes you may buy your butter in these little sticks, they're called, and they're in half cup. But a lot of times I prefer to buy my butter in these large blocks. So if you measured like a half cup, you'd have to try to cut this and jam it into this half cup. And the butter's cold and it's hard to get an accurate measurement. Whereas when I have a scale, I can just cut off an amount while my butter is still cold and just weigh it. Come up to 113 grams, and then I know. So that makes it a lot easier. And then if I had, I mean, there's just all different things. Your brown sugar, for example, recipes always say 1 cup of packed brown sugar. Well, how packed is packed? Whereas if it's weight, a cup of brown sugar is 210 grams. Just put it on your scale, that's it. You don't have to worry. And then say you want a cup of graham cracker crumbs. Now, when I make graham cracker crumbs, I don't like to buy them already done. I like to take the whole graham crackers and then kind of process them until they're really fine, do my own crumbs. But the problem is normally what you'd have to do is put them in a plastic bag, bang it, and then try to put it in your measuring cup, and you end up with crumbs all over your counter. This way, all I have to do is I know that 1 cup of graham cracker crumbs weighs 100 grams. So I just take a bunch of these, and when I get up to 100, I know that's my measurement. So then I can just either put them in my plastic bag, put them in my food processor. I don't have to measure anymore. So you can just see how easy that is. And it's not, you don't have to use a lot of bowls or cups or all kinds of things. Now, measuring cups, let's talk about volume. If you ever measured flour, you know how inaccurate it is. Are you a person that takes your measuring cup and do you dip it into your flour bag, or do you spoon it in? Because whichever way you do it, you will get a different amount. Actually, you'll probably get a different amount every time you do it. So I'm going to just show you. Put my little bowl on the scale and I'll zero that. Meanwhile, I'll take my cup and I'll just dip it into my flour bag. Now, if you're like some people, they actually use the side of the bag to level the top. I won't do that. I'll do this properly, and then let's just weigh it and see how much that weighs. So I have 152 grams. Now remember, I told you that I use the weight of 130 grams for a cup of flour. And when I did it this way, I got 152. That's 20 grams over, so do the math, I don't know, say 15% or more difference. Now, if I decided to scoop, now there's a couple ways people scoop. Some people just put their spoon in, and then I've seen a lot of people, they kind of mix up the flour first. Again, if either way will give you a different amount, but I've just kind of loosened it up, and then I'll lightly spoon it in. And I won't use my finger. I'll use, some people use their finger, but we'll use the straight edge. We'll do it as we're supposed to. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll get rid of this. Remember, it's 152. And let's zero. Okay, let's see what this weighs. Actually, I'm at 120, which is a little less than I would use. So you can see, and if I did that again, if I just scooped it right out, I might get a different weight again. So whereas when I say 130 grams for flour, you just put it on. It doesn't matter how packed that flour is in that bag from transportation and storage. 130 grams is 130 grams. So let's talk about, I use grams. Now, I know I'm in the US, and you will say to me, why are you using the metric system? Why aren't you using ounces? The problem is, with ounces, there's two types of ounces. There's weight ounces, and there's fluid ounces. So I could say 4 ounces of flour, or I could say 4 fluid ounces of milk. Now, if I was measuring the milk, I'd use this glass measuring cup. Well, I find people get confused. And when you hear 4 ounces of flour, I've seen people put their flour in here. And as you know, you never measure flour in a glass measuring cup. So, whereas grams only means weight. There's no confusion. And if you're a little tentative on the metric system, just think about it as numbers. It's just numbers. So now, another common question I get is, well, you say that a cup of flour is 130 grams, and the same volume, a cup of granulated white sugar is 200 grams. How can that be? Because it's the same volume. Well, if we look at it, say you've got this. I have 2 cups of feathers. We all know that that is not going to weigh the same as 2 cups of these rocks. And the same is true with dry ingredients. And because volume is not, you can have the same volume of something, but the density can be different. And if the densities between the 2 ingredients are different, that means there's different weights. So that's why that is. Now, on the site, on Joy Baking, I weigh all of my dry ingredients, especially, your flour, your sugar, your butter, those kind of things. Now, you can waffle. I can waffle sometimes on a chocolate chip, a cup of chocolate chips, or should I weigh it at 170 grams? But, your butter, your sugar, your flour, those kind of things, really, weight is the best way. But now, what I have put on the site is a chart. And I've listed a whole bunch of ingredients like butter, sugar, flour, those kind of things. I gave you the volume, like a cup measurement. And then I've told you what the weight would be. Because you may have recipes at home that aren't giving you the weight measurements, and you might want to start, because I'll tell you, once you start using these scales, you won't want to go back. So that way you can easily convert. So until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.